Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with an interesting video today, to grade or not to grade. And it revolves around cards just like this. The card on your screen here, a nice little 1996 Ray Allen base rookie card. Mid-tier product, decent product, great player, Hall of Fame player. And the question is, does this need to be sent to PSA? That's the question. And what are the factors to consider when making decisions whether or not to send a card like this to PSA? And when I say a card like this, I've got this decision 100, 200, 300 fold as I'm going through this cross-country collection. And I'm curious to get the thoughts of the people that are watching this video and the people that subscribe to my channel and that are always so wonderfully engaged in the comments section of my videos. What am I not considering, and what are your thoughts on cards just like this, to grade or not to grade? Stay tuned. I've got some factors to consider. Let me know what you think. PWCC is a great way to sell your sports cards. If you're looking for a way to support the Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel, consider using the promo code CAJUN, all caps, C-A-J-U-N, when you're selling your cards on the PWCC marketplace. All right, just like you heard in the introduction, this is the card we're talking about. We're just going to talk about one particular card, but this analysis, this dilemma, this decision-making process, this balancing act between grade or not to grade applies to many, many, many more cards just like this 96 metal Ray Allen. So I've got the card pulled up in Card Ladder. It's in the Card Ladder database, which means we can look at it in grades 8, 9, and 10, and we can go back and look at what it's worth and make all kinds of decisions. On the screen, you'll see this card last sold for $6 16 days ago. So you're looking at a card in PSA 8, and here's the card again, just so you guys can see it on the big screen. Great looking card, nice looking base card, a little bit better than a Topps, or in my opinion, a little bit better than a Topps or a Fleer or a Hoops base or whatever. This is the metal product, right? And you can see that's a really wild chart right there. There's the chart. The PSA 8 has sold for an eye-popping $23.64 on occasion. It is also sold for $1.04. Keep in mind it costs about $22 with shipping and insurance to grade a freaking card at PSA. So that is a pretty bad loss. When you pay $22 to grade a card and it sells for $1 in the slab graded, that's not a good thing. So clearly, if I think the card's going to come back at 8, it's not worth sending. I've looked at the card. The card looks like it has a chance at a 10. It looks perfect to me. I don't know what else to think. I'm not a grader, and I know even graders may differ. One grader on one day may give it an 8. One grader may give it a 10. Anybody that tells you otherwise is lying to your face or thinks they know more than they do about grading. It is a little bit arbitrary when you get down to the absolute fine points in the minutia, and grades can swing 2 places in either direction. Yes, I am not kidding. So let's move on to the PSA 9. Okay, well, what if I send it in and it comes back a PSA 9? Not much different. Here's the chart. It's obviously way the hell down over the last 2 years because most base rookie cards of non-Michael Jordan are, including base rookie cards of Michael Jordan, are probably down over the last 2 years as well. But let's look at the last 3 months. Let's look at the last 6 months. Give us a little more data points. There's your deal, right? The card sold for as low as $8 and as much as $20, and the average is $13. So if I send it in and it comes back mint, PSA 9, I'm losing again. It doesn't make sense. So the reason this becomes a dilemma, you're probably listening to the video saying, well, what the hell's the problem? Don't send the freaking card in. It's a $1 raw card. Why would you send it in? Well, here's the answer. The last one sold for $175. Okay, so on eBay, this card sold at eBay auction right here from a good seller with a good feedback, and it was a PSA 10 copy, and it sold for, does that say $252? Jeez, I thought it was $175. Yeah, $175 on eBay. It was fixed price, so it must have taken an offer or something like that. But I see a $175 on eBay on August 30th, 57. That doesn't make a lot of sense. That's a pretty big disparity. 99, 75, 45, 42, 87. Either way, if you told me, Cajun, you're going to get a PSA 10, I'd send the card in. That's double the money at worst, 5 times my money at best, 6 times, 8 times, whatever. And so the question then becomes, well, what are the odds that it's going to come back a PSA 10? And that's where you've got to go into Card Ladder, click the pop report button, and let's take a look at the gem percentage and see what percentage come back a PSA 10. But then there's a further consideration, right? So we see a gem percent here of 11% with PSA. That means about, 1 out of 9 come back a PSA 10. So if I sent 9 of these in, probably going to get 110 back. So the question then becomes, well, is it really 1 out of 9 now, 27 years later, or was the bulk of this gem rate percentage built upon submissions during PSA's slightly more lenient grading standards of the late 90s and the early 2000s, even through the mid 2000s and 2010s? Remember, PSA really heightened their grading standards around, I think, 2018-19-ish. I'm trying to remember when they flipped that switch and shit just became really, really hard to grade PSA 10s. So this gem rate might have been 20% in 2019, and it may drop to 11% because they're giving 1% gems, on people that are submitting them 27 years after the card came out of the stinking pack. So that's another further consideration. So I just want to solicit your opinion. What would you guys do? I mean, you guys see it. If a PSA 10, let's just say safely it's $100, and a PSA 8 and a PSA 9 are 5 and 15. What do you do? If it looks like a 10 to you, what do you do? And the reason I ask that, I don't care about one card, but I have 500 cards like this, 500 decisions to make exactly like this. And it doesn't need to be a Ray Allen or a Steve Nash or an Allen Iverson base tops or base Fleer rookie to have this. There's Shaquille O'Neal inserts, Shaquille O'Neal hardwood leaders. There's metal shredders. There's Kobe low end inserts where this is the type of decision you have to make. There's Kobe second year cards with decisions to be made on like this. There are Jordan base upper deck cards from random years where this decision has to be made. Now on Jordan, I usually tend to grade the damn thing anyway, because if it's a card I don't have, I'll take it in an 8 and I'll put it in my PSA 8 collection. You guys know me, I collect PSA 8s. But Ray Allen, I don't collect. The only reason I would grade this card is to sell it for more money than it cost me to buy it and grade it. That is the only reason that I would get this card graded. What would you do in my situation with one? Does it change your opinion knowing you have 100 bullets to fire and maybe you could get 11 or 12 PSA 10s? Would it matter if there had 10 of these? Would it matter 10 of these exact cards? Would you send all 10 if they all look like 10s? Let me know in the comments. I get such amazing engagement and communication, and that's kind of why I started this YouTube channel. Is this was my outlet to the hobby, to ask questions and to share some of my education process and how I collect to get better at doing this. And so I want to know from some of you guys out there who are like me, who oftentimes buy raw, grade, and flip. Yes, I said flip. It's not a bad word. There are people out there who do that. And if you call me a flipper, that's fine. I've got a pretty good collection to back up the fact that I'm a collector also, in case you haven't noticed. So I think there is a place to turn cards into money, to buy bigger cards, to put into your forever Cajun Eternity PC. That's the way I do things. If you watch my channel, you know that's how I do things. And I've got the facts to back it up, and I've got the portfolio to back it up. That's how I grow my collection. I buy cards like this, not necessarily like this, but you get the point. I buy investment type cards. I invest in those cards. I like to turn those cards for profit. I'd like to take those profits and go buy a nice Honda Accord. No, I'm just kidding. I don't buy a freaking Honda Accord. I go buy a nice big Jordan insert or parallel that's in the MJ hierarchy that I don't already have. So you guys know how I do this. Let me know what you would do if you had 50 cards like this. And I'm talking about all sorts of cards like this. Living Legends, Hakeem Olajuwons, Metal Universe base, Magic Hakeem Olajuwon. There's just, you get the point. Cards where if they grade an 8, it's an $8 to $15 card, but if it grades a 9, it's a $20 card. It's a break even. If it grades a 10, it's worth 90. What do you do in that situation, and what do you do when you have 500 decisions like that to make? I don't know the answer. I'd like to get your comments. I hope this video was enjoyable for you guys. I know some of you guys out there feel this exact same dilemma all the time with raw cards that you buy on eBay. Let me know what your thoughts are. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby, and peace.